Welcome to the Brian Craig Show podcast. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. And of course, the Brian Craig Show podcast is brought to you by Tom Laporta of Laporta Contracting and Roofing, who will never sell you a roof you do not need. That's right. If you need just a simple repair, he'll do it. Okay, this freak show happened today with this sit-down conversation with Kamala and Tim Walz. And I want to play some of it for you guys. And I know it's tough, isn't it? What they did was really weird. Kamala Harris has been in the public for a long time. She's vice president of the United States. And they did this sit down where they're trying to get to know each other, but also trying to get people to know them. And they did this video and they released it on YouTube. And they did it in a live premiere. It's under 10 minutes long. And they did a live premiere where there's a live chat, and there was 4,100 people max in there. Donald Trump is on Right Side Broadcasting at an event. How many people are in there, Kathy?
At least 50,000.
At least on a slow day. Sometimes over 100,000.
Well, it's interesting because he did a conversation. I guess they stole the conversation idea.
Yeah.
With Elon Musk, and it went on for 2.5 hours. This was 10 minutes. That's about as much, I guess, as they figure people can stand.
Yeah, and about 3 billion people have seen at least part of the Elon Musk-Trump conversation. I just want to say one quick thing about the conversation. A lot of people are still saying, oh, there was nothing new here. Not if you watch every Trump speech like we do. Most people don't do that, okay? If Trump's going to be on Right Side Broadcasting at a speech somewhere, we're going to watch it. Most people don't do that. So for most people, they heard all those things for the first time. That wasn't for us that hang on his every word, right? Okay, so I want to play some of this. So this is Tim Walz. They went to went to I believe it's Detroit, and they're sitting in some nightclub, and it looks like they're at a poker table in some fancy nightclub, and they're just sitting down, getting to know each other. All right, listen.
In halftime in America, we're a touchdown down, and I kind of like the idea of being a little bit behind.
Well, I'm looking at Coach Walz right now. I'm looking at Coach Walz.
Okay.
Well, he's not a coach.
No, and what they're trying to do with this guy is make him like a regular Midwestern guy, and they're trying to create this whole narrative that he's just your average Midwestern guy. The average Midwestern guy is J.D. Vance, and me, by the way, because I'm from Columbus, Ohio, even though I've been in Florida most of my life. And regular Midwestern guys aren't like going to Tiananmen Square during the massacre.
Right.
Most Midwestern guys don't take their wife to China and get married in Tiananmen Square.
They're trying to sell you on this idea that he's like just a normal Midwestern dad, coaches the local team. He's a liar. He's a pathological liar. He's never been a coach. He was a defensive coordinator, which is not a coach.
At a high school.
That's like a
volunteer position practically at a high school.
Yeah. Well, he probably got paid another $1,500 a year to do it. That's how it works when you do those extracurriculars with teaching. But that's not even like officially a coach or assistant coach. You're given like a job to just coordinate the defense, but I don't even know if that's considered like a coaching type position.
No. Okay. So back to this. So they
don't call you a coach. They call you a coordinator.
This is the conversation between Kamala and Tim Walz.
Well, I'm looking at Coach Walz right now. I'm looking at Coach Walz.
What does that mean?
He's a coach.
Like I have white guy tacos and
What is that? Like mayonnaise and tuna? What are you doing?
pretty much ground beef and cheese.
That's okay, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
White guy tacos.
Never heard of that before.
Have you ever heard of white guy tacos? Sounds like
Never.
something about Taco Bell. Meat, cheese, a little lettuce, tomato, a little hot sauce.
I mean, isn't that a taco?
That's a
ground
taco.
beef and cheese?
A white guy
What the hell is he
taco? Have any of you ever heard the expression white guy taco?
They get upset when Trump says black jobs, but he can say white guy tacos.
Well,
What does that mean? Are there separate tacos for black people?
And
what do they eat?
And did you hear her like she's from some other culture? What does that mean? Mayonnaise and bread? What's that? I mean, yeah.
Because see, what she just said is so racist.
Yeah.
Like Joy Reid was talking about a guy last week, and a white guy, and she was saying about mayonnaise. It's a thing with white people. with mayonnaise.
I don't eat mayonnaise.
That I know you, but there's a thing that black people think all whites love mayonnaise.
Oh no,
and they don't. Did you ever see that movie where that black guy played the spy with Denise Richards? It's really funny. I can't remember his name, and it's like a parody movie, and he was like a spy with a big afro, and he was dating Denise Richards.
Yeah, I know
and
that
she
movie.
tried to get him to eat mayonnaise, and he was like physically ill. It was hilarious. So it's a thing. But for her to say to him automatically, what, like mayonnaise? That's like so racist. Like all white people love mayonnaise. What the hell?
As you'll hear as this goes on.
Could you imagine if it's like trailery with the hot sauce?
Kamala lives with her husband's white, right? Kamala's trying to come off as black, like she doesn't understand what white people eat. That's how black she is. You understand?
No, I think she just eats a lot of Indian food.
Yeah, well,
and they don't eat mayonnaise in India.
Yeah, I guess.
Any flavor in it?
No. Here's the deal.
White people have no flavor.
Let her know this, that black pepper is the top of the spice level in Minnesota, you know?
I'm the first vice president, I believe, who has ever grown chili peppers.
I'm trying to expand my food knowledge.
You know what? We've got some cantaloupes. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
So
such a riveting conversation.
I was hoping maybe we wouldn't have to.
I called you, Tim.
Yes.
You didn't answer, Tim.
I know.
What happened?
The most important call of my life. It popped up, and we didn't recognize the caller ID. And it went to voicemail. Hi, this is Tim. I'm not able to answer.
I don't believe any of that. I think they stole that from the JD Vance thing.
They totally stole that.
Just like no taxes on tips.
Yeah, and and having a conversation, they stole the Elon Musk Trump thing. That's three things they stole in a week.
Yeah. You know what's
good? Come.
They're stealing so much from Trump, right? They're doing so much plagiarism. At some point, real quick, it's going to start to become like a joke on them. You know, it's going to start to get really bad. But let's get into some of this though. Let's a little. I'm not going to put you through the whole thing, guys.
Oh,
okay?
Please don't.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey Tim, it's Kamala. I really want to talk to you.
It is an amazing privilege for me. Also, I'm excited. I just want to be part of the excitement that you're generating.
Well, we're doing it together, buddy. We're doing it together. How have these last couple of days been for you?
I can see where the energy comes. America is a hopeful country.
Indeed.
People are excited.
In every one of those groups of thousands, sometimes over 10,000 people.
Does that include the AI people?
Yes.
Exactly who we are as Americans.
That includes the mutants
people
with the
from
three hands.
Rural areas, urban areas, of every stripe and size and background. This is who we are as America, and we're all in it together.
Yeah.
And in this campaign, the only way we win is to keep the pedal to the metal for these next many, many days that we have. So, Tim, what's your relationship to music?
Yeah.
Okay, now here's where he's going to try to sound white, Midwestern, blue collar.
He is painting himself as a very stereotypical
white guy,
boring white guy.
Yeah, this is all about establishing the two of them as like regular people. And if you notice, the whole thing is it's very racially stereotypical on both sides, right? So listen to this as they go on a little bit.
For me, the transformational piece of music was Bruce Springsteen's The River, which is a journey. You know all the tracks, and I'm that guy. My first car, it's the summer 1980, been saving up. I buy a 1973 orange Chevy Camaro. Got an 8-track player in it.
Oh, wow.
Previous owner left Bob Seger's Night Moves in there. I listened to it, and it's kind of the soundtrack of my life.
Of course, yeah, Springsteen and Seger. The soundtrack, he's just a regular Midwestern guy hanging out in Tiananmen Square. Now wait till you hear what her music is.
Of Detroit's own Bob Seger. But what's really great about this is I have a 79 International as my car. It's got an 8-track player in it. I have the very 8-track to this day.
You're kidding me.
No, but how about you?
I grew up, so all these albums here, I mean, Aretha, my mother had every Aretha album, and
all the Indian women in the 60s were into Aretha.
Yes.
Franklin, right?
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Our Christmas gift to my mother, her birthday gift was always like, what's the latest Aretha Franklin record?
So it's on vinyl in your house as a backup.
All of it.
Wow.
That and Stevie. And
that Does anyone believe that her Indian mother, who lived the traditional Indian lifestyle, was into exclusively black R&B?
No.
Aretha Franklin, Stevie Wonder.
Every musician she mentions is black.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
because she's trying to establish that she's black.
Every single one.
Then Miles, and my dad loved jazz, and so it was Miles, it was Coltrane, one of my personal favorite musicians.
You know what this is from?
So weird.
This dialogue that she's having about Miles and Coltrane, it's from two things. Yeah. It's so interesting. That dialogue is from two different things. One is a movie, and one's a TV show, and they've combined them together.
Yeah, they have script writers.
One is from That Thing You Do with Tom Hanks about that the Wonders, the one-hit band, one-hit wonder. The one guy, he's in that jazz club at the end with Tom, and he's talking about Miles and all that stuff.
Yes.
And the other one is, what is that detective show that I like that is on Amazon? It's named after the main character. He's into Coltrane and Miles, and he talks about, you know which one? Bosch. That's right out of Bosch.
Yeah.
That script, whoever writes for Bosch is writing for her.
Well, you know, another thing I just realized.
It's right out of Bosch.
Another thing they just stole from Trump. This is the fourth thing.
They steal everything.
Remember he went into the Tesla and played his music he liked?
Yes.
Yes, they stole that idea too. And Trump played, he loves Sinatra, Elvis, and the Beach Boys. He mentioned those three.
For when I was younger was Prince. And of course from your estate. And he, you know, in fact, I'll tell you, so my husband Doug and I'm more of a hip hop girl. Yeah. He's more of Depeche Mode.
Oh yeah, about the same time.
I'm sure you and he like the same music.
Depeche Mode is good.
But I like Depeche Mode.
So her husband likes 80s,
and I like Prince too. I remember when I first heard Purple Rain, that album.
I don't like Prince, but I know you love Prince.
Absolutely.
He's very talented. But if people ask me what I listen to two things. I listen to 80s music, which includes Michael Jackson, Duran Duran, Madonna, Def Leppard, and I listen to jazz. I like Miles Davis too.
Everybody likes Miles Davis, Kathy, but you don't have the vinyls at home.
Brian, no, I listen to mostly jazz, instrumental, Vince Guaraldi. I can't name all the groups, but a lot of them are black jazz musicians. But I don't sit there. I think it's just I don't understand the point of this other than they're trying to get people to get to know them, and they figure, okay, everybody loves music. And maybe that can connect people. And I think the problem she's worried about is that people didn't connect with Hillary, and she's trying to connect with people on a more human level because Hillary could never do that.
Well, it's all fake. This is fake.
Well, yeah. I mean, first of all, I don't give a damn what she listens to, okay? And frankly, I don't care what Trump listens to. He likes opera and Broadway music.
I like opera,
good for him.
Music.
But that has nothing to do with running the country. She is a communist. She wants to regulate grocery prices now.
Yeah.
That's her plan to put regulations on grocery stores. That is communism.
Exactly.
That's what matters. This is all bullshit here.
It's all fake. And, you know, the thing about the music, it's so fake because they're trying to establish their personalities, right? And they're doing these fake personalities. She likes all the Bosch music, and I'd like to see her at her home without advance notice, by the way, show us this home filled with all of her mother's vinyls of Aretha Franklin. And I'm not talking about the 4 or 5 she bought last week.
I wish I had my mom's vinyls. My mom had a great music collection when I was growing up. She had, we had record players, and my mom had dozens and dozens, and I had records too, but my mom had all like the 70s, and she had a very eclectic collection. She had Donna Summer, she loved disco, the Beach Boys, the Bee Gees, Elvis, Kenny Rogers. She had Neil Diamond. Boy, I wish I had those vinyls.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to this. The conversation of fakeness, scripted.
Prince, in the Venn diagram of things, Prince, he and I love the same because, talk about how Prince was with that guitar, man.
She loves Venn diagrams.
She's not into Prince because I don't hear her talking about any of the albums, any of the songs, the Revolution, Apollonia, nothing. This is just some vague. She just keeps saying Prince. You understand what I mean? I'm not hearing like I remember that.
It's weird she doesn't mention Michael Jackson. He's like the biggest black star.
Exactly.
It's almost know by heart every one of those songs.
Well, why don't you give us some of the lyrics since you know them by heart, Kamala?
Paisley Park is going to happen here.
It's on my bucket list. I'll tell you that. Tell me about your dad.
Oh my!
And his influence on you. Yeah. He served our country. You have served for our country for so many years.
Yeah. I was 19. My little brother, I think, was eight or nine when he passed. He was a chain smoker. Yeah, just addicted. They got a Korean War era, and that generation of men pretty stoic. After he died, my mom was a stay-at-home mom. She became our rock, and now she had to go out and get work because the medical bills broke her.
Yeah, now it's Mao.
See, what they're trying to do with him is J.D. Vance has a whole book and a movie about his life.
Hillbilly Elegy.
Okay, you just have to go to Netflix and watch it. And by the way, it was like #1 last week. Or read the book, and you get his whole life story. Nobody knows shit about this guy, and he's trying. And all they know is that he lies about his service, and that he's a creep. And he puts tampons in the boys' bathroom. So they're trying to give the impression that he's like J.D. Vance, that he served his country. He's a coach. He's a normal guy, blah, blah, blah.
Didn't have health insurance.
They're trying to deflect off of his stolen valor, which is not going to go away.
And to sit there and talk about his honorable service when he served dishonorably.
Yeah, it's only going to make it worse.
This was a big mistake.
I agree.
And Social Security survivor benefits. We're fine pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps. We had no boots.
God.
That's the boots.
And it's survival, literally.
It is survival. We all paid it back. So programs that are just fundamental to keeping people from dropping into poverty, but to live with dignity. You keep talking about that.
We got to help people get through a hard time. We can't have a country and policies that let people fall through the cracks. Yeah. I love what you have done with your life. You were coaching a high school football team that was winless.
Yes.
And you came in, and so they were clearly the underdog.
So
he came in and they won everything.
Yeah, he's such a liar.
What is this, Rudy? What is this? What's going on here? None of their...
That's a good movie. That's a good movie, by the way.
Oh, my goodness.
Even though Sean Astin is a real liberal a-hole, that's a great movie.
Everything in this thing is so scripted and fake.
Yeah.
Right?
And
what happened?
Yeah, it's a team. And I had great coaches with me, and we were friends, and we buckled down. And look, I was a fairly big school, but nobody wanted to play because they hadn't won. And this group of coaches said, first and foremost, we gotta build the team. We got to go out and find people. So we invited them in. And I'll be honest, the first year, we did not score a touchdown until the last game of the year. We got shut out in every game. My high score until the final game was my defensive tackle because we got a safety in one game. 2 years later, those kids won a state championship. That school has won several more since then.
Right.
We left. You build culture. You build winning. Right. People want to be a part of it. And that's the excitement. That's the excitement of what it can be.
That's how I feel about our campaign.
Yeah.
Our campaign is the Underdog campaign.
Oh, yeah.
And with our joy, we also have to understand that we're still against some forces that are trying to divide our country. It pains me the kind of division and the stoking of divisions that has taken place, right?
Yeah, like the white guy tacos.
What they're doing here is they're trying to show whites and blacks can come together.
Mm-hmm.
Him with his white music and white mayonnaise. And her with her, she didn't mention food she eats, but her black music. They're trying to show that they can come together.
Exactly.
And that they're going to bring white and black people together in harmony and kumbaya.
Yes.
They don't mention the fact that Black Lives Matter burned down his city in his state for 3 days while his wife smelled the tires burning and he did nothing to stop it. How is that harmony? How is that? They're not talking about anything that matters. And I think that Trump saying vote your stomach is what people are going to be doing. He needs to continue.
I will say, though, that he is a good actor because he does the way he talks. It's, we know about him and know his history in such a short time. So we know he's lying and this is scripted. But if you didn't know, he's got that likability thing going on.
It sounds like he's been coached.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He has been coached. Absolutely.
And when we can remind people and create a space for everyone to come where they see each other and say, hey, we're all in this together.
It almost feels like everybody's coming out of their house after a blizzard and, a Minnesota reference, and you shovel out,
the
and
paintball
then you start
shot
talking to your neighbors. How was it the last couple of days or whatever it might be? They're re-energizing, and they're looking for their neighbors. We keep saying, keep talking about the promise of America, and we say, take care of your neighbor.
In the face of a stranger, when you're looking in the face of a stranger, you should see a neighbor, right?
Yeah.
Oh my!
So
goodness.
is that what he meant when he sent the National Guard to shoot paintballs at were those his neighbors?
Well, what
a lying jerk.
What she's talking about is our moral obligation to our neighbors south of the U.S. border. That's what she's talking about there. She's not talking about people in your neighborhood.
About crying on this when you talk about, look, a girl from Oakland, California, and a guy from out in Nebraska on there. And the number of people I watch just kind of nod and break into a smile. This exploiting the differences, it can't last. I talk about it being halftime in America. We're a touchdown down because a lot of folks, it's easier to tear things down. It's easier.
Like Minneapolis with Black Lives Matter.
This is like a Ronald Reagan rip, right? Like it's morning in America, it's halftime in America.
Yeah, win one for the Kipper.
Yeah, exactly.
To divide than it is to build. But once you start that momentum, once we come out and where we're...
Now, you notice they haven't said one damn specific thing they're going to do.
No.
These are all vague generalities.
That's how Obama... That's what Obama...
Excuse me, I have hiccups. You go back to that Elon Musk-Trump conversation, they were talking about very specific things. By the way, guys, we're almost done. We're almost done. The whole conversation is almost over.
This is like torture.
I
like
know
Chinese
it's tough.
Water torture.
You know what? Walz knows all about Chinese
exactly.
stuff. Yeah.
At right now, people want to be part of something that's winning. They want to be part of something that's good.
It's called MAGA.
That's why we're MAGA.
Part of something that everybody can be a part of. And I kind of like the idea of being a little bit behind.
Well, I'm looking at Coach Walz right
now. That's interesting. So he's acknowledging they're behind in the polls.
She just said they're the underdogs, and he said they're behind, but then he said they want to be a part of what's winning. So what the hell is it?
And that tells me that their internal polls, the real scientific polls, show that they're way behind Trump.
Yeah.
And these polls that we have access to, the public polls, are lies because they keep saying that they're the underdog.
So are they
behind.
winning or are they the underdog? Which is it?
They're behind and they're losing. They keep saying that.
Now, I'm looking at Coach Walz.
Did you always know you wanted to be an attorney?
My parents met when they were active in the civil rights movement.
Oh, wonderful.
I grew up around a bunch of people that were, marching and shouting for justice.
And
just
Canada.
like Biden, was he there too?
In Canada, when there was no civil rights movement, right?
They were marching with Biden.
Yeah.
And some of the heroes of that movement were the lawyers, Thurgood Marshall, right? They understood how to translate the passion from the streets to the courtrooms of our country. And they believed in the Constitution of the United States.
Give me a break. Her dad is a Marxist communist.
That's exactly right.
He doesn't believe in the Constitution. He believes in the Chinese Constitution.
And not even an American. He's Jamaican.
Incredible.
So he wasn't part of that. And her mother is an immigrant from India.
This is a whole,
she's trying to impress Charlemagne the God.
They're giving her a fake backstory.
Yes.
You know how when you have an actor who does a role and they create a backstory for the character. So this is what's going on here.
Exactly.
For both of them. This is all fake BS.
All of it.
Principles upon which it was founded. And that's where they then, in the courts of America, reminded us of the promise, right? And the ideals of our country, including equality, freedom, right? That's why I went to law school.
Oh my God.
But the other reason is when I was in high school.
In Canada, by the way. In high school in Canada, not in the United States, but you're not going to hear that.
My best friend I learned was being molested by her stepfather. And
I've heard this story so many times.
Realized what was happening. I told her, you have to come live with us. I called my mom. I have to tell you, Tim, it was the first time that I realized how not everyone can take their safety for granted.
Yeah.
And what we should all feel is a sense of responsibility to protect people from harm.
Yeah.
So that's why I decided I want to be a prosecutor.
Wow.
And as a prosecutor...
Because she wanted to prosecute people like her best friend's father.
Throw innocent men in jail, I guess.
Yeah, and put parents in jail whose kids skip school.
Right.
I
wonder when she decided she wanted to date married men.
I think under her...
When that came up.
Yeah, I think under her, they're going to try, if she won, to have a national mandate where if you do not allow your minor children to have gender-affirming care, as they call it, that they will take... They're already doing it in some states. They're taking children away from parents. It's happening in California, where if a child... And I saw this when I was teaching 20 years ago. The children have way too much power in the schools. Mm-hmm. I would get yelled at by my AP because I was disciplining kids, and I was a nice teacher. But if I disciplined somebody and their parents would complain about me giving him a detention, I'd get in trouble.
Yeah.
I'd get in trouble. And I was like, what is this bizarro world? This is crazy. And I saw it happening then, and it's so much worse now. And kids, what they do is if they want to have puberty blockers or whatever, and they're in high school and they're having problems, or they're having problems at home, they'll go to the guidance counselor and they'll tell the guidance counselor, I'm a boy, but I want to be a girl. This is how I feel. My mom and dad won't let me. Well, what do you think the guidance counselor is going to do with that information? Well, in some places, they call the police or they call child protective services. They see that as abuse, and they will remove the child from the home. And not only do that, they will give them those surgeries and those hormones. It's sickening, and do whatever they want to these kids. And there are this is why Elon Musk is on the Trump train, because he said he got talked into this stuff with his son, and he deeply, deeply regrets it and lives with the guilt of allowing his son to do this before he turned 18.
You know, this thing with her best friend and the father, I've heard this story before, and I've seen the best friend. What did they call the police? I never hear that mentioned in the story.
No, you don't.
I prosecuted homicide cases. I prosecuted a number of different types of cases, but I specialized in child sexual assault cases.
Okay, now I want to slow down right there. We still have not seen any video or photographs of her in a courtroom arguing a case in front of a jury. So when she says prosecuted, she could consider that as a district attorney. When she was the district attorney overseeing the prosecutors, she could see herself. She could say she prosecuted them even though she wasn't in the courtroom. I'm not so sure she's ever argued a criminal case in front of a jury in a courtroom, because I think if she did, she's made this such a big part of her backstory that we would see, like right here, throughout this video that I'm playing the audio from, they're showing photographs. They showed him as a coach with the football team. They showed her dressed up, but they don't show her arguing in front of a jury. You understand what I mean? There's no video of her in front of a jury.
And one of the things I did was create a whole unit dedicated to focusing on children who are being abused and to ensure that they have dignity in the process and justice. There's so much work that we still have to do to make sure that children have a voice.
For me, that's kind of with me. Get in as a teacher.
He's big on that
about
too.
The kids and wherever you teach.
They're both really big on this.
Children, it became
children transgender stuff.
Well, and you know
that's a big thing with him.
The Democrats,
it's weird.
The Democrats wanted to lower the voting age to 16. You know, and this is a step towards that because the 16-year-old kids don't know what's going on. They figure they'll be Democrats.
So clear to me, and I think it made me a really good teacher.
Yeah.
That child who came through the door was somebody's most special thing in their life. Thinking of a parent dressing their little one up and sending them off to school so proud of them. I wanted to come through that door and just lift them up, that sense of service. It's interesting, two different parts of the country, two different lived experiences, but
two different countries. She grew up in Canada.
Yeah.
This idea that she grew up in California that they keep trying to sell us is a bunch of nonsense.
Same goal of everybody getting a fair shot.
Well, I have to tell you, Tim, even though you and I grew up in different parts of the country.
No, you grew up in different countries.
Yeah, exactly. See, another lie. Yeah, another lie.
That's a whole you're right. It's a backstory.
She didn't grow up in America. She grew up in Canada. She moved there when she was 9. You're not grown up at 9 years old.
No.
Remind me of the people I grew up with. Hardworking folks, plain speaking.
Here comes the accent.
People who know the difference between right and wrong.
Yep.
And care, love thy neighbor in the most
Canadian,
authentic and true way.
Yeah.
Those are the folks I grew up with. And I know that's who you are. And I'm so glad we're doing this together.
Socialist.
I'll be with you.
That's it.
Well, my family grew up in Canada too, and they are very nice there. My mom's Canadian. My whole family.
Trudeau's not nice.
No, they hate him. My whole family still lives there on my mom's side. My cousins, they're all still there in Canada. Well, my one cousin lives in England. But they all love Trump. And I remember my cousin, she had a medical problem. She tore a muscle or something. She plays tennis all the time. And she tore a ligament or something. And you know how long it took her to get an MRI? 6 months.
Yeah.
I could go to a hospital if I was on the tennis court, which I don't play any, obviously, and hurt myself. I could go to the hospital and have an MRI done that day. She went to her doctor. 6 months it took her to get the MRI to look at her. By that time, it's healed.
Mm-hmm.
That's socialist medicine. That's socialist medicine.
Well, if you remember, Liam Neeson's wife died because she had that accident in Canada. They didn't have an MRI machine. It was hours and hours away.
That's right.
Here in Florida, they have.
Oh my gosh, where we live alone, there's hundreds of MRIs.
Yeah, every few blocks there's an MRI. Literally.
Yeah, there's literally in the city we live in about a dozen MRI imaging places.
They're in the strip centers all over the place.
Not to mention 2 hospitals where they have MRIs.
But not in Canada.
There's like probably 20 to 25 just in our city alone of places where you can go. And here's the bottom line. She's a socialist. He's a communist. Okay? And she's probably a communist too, leaning, because her dad was. Her dad did not march for anybody's rights. And he's a Marxist. He's into Marxism and all that stuff. He actually was a Marxist professor.
That's right.
At Stanford. I'm sure he's intelligent. Her mom was an economist. Sorry,
in Canada.
So they're intelligent people, but they produced a moron.
Yes.
And unlike Trump, who's intelligent and his kids are intelligent, he said, "I don't produce idiots," which is true. I love that. But here's the deal. Like I said, I don't care what they listen to. I don't care what they eat. I don't care about any of that stuff. It does not matter. What matters is that the people cannot afford. I cannot believe how expensive the food prices are. The big problem. That is the big problem in this country. I think the border and the food, the gas prices here at least have gone down. It's about $3.70, which is still higher than Trump, but it's it's not like $4 or $5. But in California, it's more money. But here it's like $3.70. But I don't know. You filled up my car the other day. It was $45. That's quite a bit for a Mini Cooper. But that's still high. But the food prices, and here's another problem they're having, because I'm really into like marketing and businesses and all this stuff. I don't know why. There's a lot of Big Lots, which was a store that sold food for cheaper, like a lot of processed foods, crackers, cookies, things like that, pasta sauces. But people would go there and they could buy it for it's kind of like an Aldi or a Family Dollar. They've closed the one by our house. They closed 25 stores in Florida, and they're closing like 100 stores nationwide.
That's right.
So that's going down the tubes.
That's right.
All these stores are closing now, and I cannot believe the prices of things. There are things that I just cannot buy anymore. It's actually cheaper sometimes to eat out. Brian and I are eating soup. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
We eat soup, make sandwiches. I don't really cook that much anymore, but when Trump was around, I could buy you a nice steak and you would put it on the grill. And now that same steak, when it cost back then $12, is $25.
Yeah, ground beef prices
so you're
are
like,
through the
I'll
roof.
just go pick one up at the local restaurant, Chili's or the barbecue place, and it's less money.
Yeah.
I cannot believe the price of food. So we're actually, sometimes we have cereal for dinner, and that's like $8 a box.
I like that though. I like
I do too.
I like Cocoa
but we are
Peppers for
not
dinner.
eating. I don't buy bacon anymore. And we used to cook like a big breakfast on the weekends. Unless I can get it for BOGO. But there's a lot of things we just don't buy.
Yeah.
Like I went to buy you, we like the Publix subs, right? And Brian likes the chicken tender sub.
I was talking about this morning.
It's the most popular one.
Yeah.
And last week I ordered it for you, and it was $16 freaking dollars.
16?
$16. It used to be $8 when Trump was in office. It's a double. So I only get it now when it's on.
Much. I had no idea it was that much.
Yeah, I only get it when it's on sale now, which is like once a month. But that kind of stuff, lunch meat. Oh my gosh! Like I used to buy boar's head roast. It's the best. So I like good lunch meat. It's like I'd get the roast beef or chicken or whatever. Now I have to buy the generic Publix brand or Walmart brand because the boar's head for a pound of like roast beef, it's like $18.
Oh my goodness.
It used to be
6, 8,
11 or 12, which I'm like, okay, this is top quality. There's no fillers. It's worth it to buy a pound of roast beef. It'll last us a week. But $18 for lunch meat, that's just crazy.
It's like Kobe beef. It's bacon and things are a luxury.
I can't believe how much things cost now.
And it's just the two of us.
That's why Trump said vote your stomach. I mean, prices are out of control. And we don't have any kids in the house anymore. Imagine if you're a single mother and you have 3 children to feed.
But
how the hell? They're not eating well.
But Walz likes Bruce Springsteen and she likes Prince. So aren't they cool?
Well,
don't you relate to them?
I guess that's all that matters.
By the way, he says he's still got this 8-track, that original 8-track. I'd like to see that.
And she has her vinyls. They're both full
Do you think he's driving around with an 8-track with the same one from his first car with the same 8-track?
No, I don't.
And the thing about...
And I don't think she has a bunch of vinyls either.
The thing about tapes, okay, they don't last. They age, they dry out.
8-track tapes, no, they definitely don't last.
Just cassette tapes and 8-track tapes,
yeah.
But he's got the original 8-track from his first car from 1980 that the car came with, and he's got that 8-track cassette still in the same 8-track player in his new car. Come on. Come on. Now,
give me a break.
Inflation has hit everywhere pretty hard.
That's going to be the main issue, I think.
But one place where prices have actually gone down is MyPillow.com with our promo code Kane at checkout. Some of the top MyPillow products are just $25. You could save up to 80% off at MyPillow.com with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. But some of the most popular products are $25. We just got a new MyPillow pet bed for the kittens.
Yep.
And I got to tell you,
they love it.
Animals, I'm so glad we have these cats. We're so lucky to have them. They're so adorable.
Yeah, we do love our
And
cats.
Luna, who's our older cat, she's about 1.5 years old. She loves them. She's become their mother.
We've decided we're not going to be dog people anymore.
We're never going to.
We're better as cat people.
Yeah, it's a lot less stressful.
It's just easier to take care of.
But I this morning when I left for work, the cats, they were all lying on the MyPillow pet bed. Isn't that a good?
Yeah, they love each other.
It's good. And huge.
I got the medium so they could all sleep on it together.
Yeah, and they do.
It's a pretty big size.
And they do. And the thing about the MyPillow pet bed, it is 100% machine washable inside and out.
That's what I like about it.
Inside, it has that same patented fill as the MyPillow. You put it in the wash, you put it in the dryer, it's like new. And they love it. These guys,
animals are messy. Like when they lay on a bed, they gets dirty sometimes. And I've noticed the cats, they lick it or something. They'll lick the bed or lick each other, or they'll take food to it or something. And you know how dogs do. Dogs will take food and take it to their bed.
Yep.
Or, sometimes if they had an older dog, Nina used to have accidents. It is the easiest pet bed to take care of.
Sure
and we've
is.
had many in the past. All you do, literally, you could leave it in the case. It's just like a big MyPillow with a pillowcase that zips, and you could throw it all in the wash. And you're done. It is absolutely the easiest thing to have. And it's really comfortable.
It's just $25 with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. It comes in a bunch of colors, and they have some new colors too. And free shipping on all orders site-wide, over $75 as well. And if you're like us, you'll have a pet bed in every room, right? I mean, because we do, and it makes it easier, and they love it. So promo code Kane at checkout, Kane at MyPillow.com. One of the few places, where prices have actually gone down at MyPillow.com during this Biden-Kamala Harris economy. My name is Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll take a quick break and be right back.
From author Liam Gold comes an epic adventure where destiny, courage, and wisdom come alive in Sands of Destiny. In ancient Egypt, you'll meet Prince Thutmose. He uncovers ancient secrets and faces trials that will test his courage and his resolve. Sands of Destiny is a story about transformation where every discovery brings the prince closer to a legacy that will inspire generations. Sands of Destiny will transport you to a world filled with mystical intrigue and timeless themes. If you're a fan of historical fiction, love adventure, and have an interest in the timeless allure of ancient Egypt, this is your next must-read book. Begin your journey today with Sands of Destiny from author Liam Gold, available on Amazon and Kindle Unlimited. This is your chance to experience the adventure that will leave you breathless and inspired. Sands of Destiny on Amazon. Are you ready to transform your life and align with God's purpose? Then order your copy of the book from author Gary S. Park, Unlocking Your Faith, Seeking God's Purpose, A Journey of Faith, Overcoming Life's Challenges, and Embracing Spiritual Growth. In this inspiring book, the author takes readers on a transformative journey, shifting your focus from self to living with God. You'll unlock profound insights on embracing the teachings of the Word of God and discover how to infuse your daily life with spiritual meaning and purpose. With Unlocking Your Faith, you'll learn the essential elements of nurturing a robust prayer life and how to cultivate a mindset anchored in faith and positivity. You'll also gain valuable insights into the power of community and fellowship in strengthening your spiritual journey. Unlocking Your Faith, Seeking God's Purpose, A Journey of Faith, Overcoming Life's Challenges, and Embracing Spiritual Growth from author Gary S. Park is the book you've been waiting for. It's available on Amazon and the author's website, GarySPark.com. That's S as in Samuel. Order your copy right now. Are you looking for eco-friendly fashion that doesn't compromise on style? Then check out Mendis.com. That's MENDISS, where fashion meets sustainability. At Mendis.com, they're all about sustainable fashion. They offer classic designs that are made from lightweight, eco-friendly fabrics, with made-on-demand t-shirts and ultimate comfort hoodies. They're soft, stylish, and have practical pouch pockets. They're perfect for everyone and every occasion. They're soft, sustainable, durable, and reliable. You will feel the difference each and every time you wear them. The fabrics are as soft as they are durable, giving you ultimate comfort while caring for the planet at the same time. Their motto is, Unity is Power. Mendis is more than just a brand. It's a movement of collective responsibility in making sustainable choices. Join the Mendis community and make a positive impact through sustainable fashion choices. Mendis.com, where fashion meets sustainability. Mendis.com. Have you been searching and searching for the perfect action figure or toys? Your search is over with Eduardo's Toy Co. on Mercari.com. Eduardo's Toy Co. is passionate about making people happy with toys. They have everything you're looking for, from the WWE to the DC Multiverse, Harley Quinn, and much, much more. There's something for every collector and lover of toys at Eduardo's Toy Co. on Mercari.com. Need gaming electronics? They've got that too, like the Sony PSP 1000. All the prices are fair and nothing is ever overpriced. You'll also find unmatched friendliness and communication. If you have any questions or can't find what you're looking for, feel free to message Eduardo anytime and he'll get right back to you. They're perfect for gift shopping too. Visit Eduardo's Toy Co. on Mercari.com. Just go to Mercari.com and search Eduardo's Toy Co. That's Eduardo's Toy Co. on Mercari.com. Start shopping right now.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. Well, you know, the mayor of Palm Beach is making a move with the city council to shut down Mar-a-Lago. I was talking about this on the show this morning. You know, it's related to a story that just broke today. So I'm not going to go through everything because I talked about that on the morning show. But it's the summertime, and in Florida, this is the hottest time of the year. Mar-a-Lago is closed over the summer. President Trump spends his summers mostly in Bedminster, New Jersey. Palm Beach, okay, if a lot of people aren't familiar with this area, there's 3 Palm Beaches, okay?
Yeah, it's a huge county. We live in Palm Beach County.
Yeah, there's Palm Beach County, there's the city of West Palm Beach, and then there's Palm Beach. Palm Beach is where Mar-a-Lago is. It's where Rush Limbaugh lived. It's where Hannity lives. It's where Brett Baer lives. It's where Ann Coulter lives. Yeah, it's where Sylvester Stallone, Dr. Oz, Rod Stewart. Yeah. Did I mention
Howard Stern?
Yeah, Howard Stern, and a lot of very famous people, and a lot of people that are just uber rich people who we don't know of that run major corporations.
This is not our neighborhood.
No. This is Palm Beach, and Palm Beach. It's on an island, and all of it's where the Kennedy compound is.
Yeah.
And what the people who live there call it, they don't call it Palm Beach. They call it the island, and then they pause the island. And Palm Beach in the summertime. Oh, by the way, it's where Epstein's house is too. Palm Beach. Well, they tore down his house and built a new one in its place. But anyway, Palm Beach Island in general is closed down during the summer. It's a place where the super, super rich come in the wintertime, and they're not here during the summer because it's hot. You know, I just go outside to the car and I'm sweating. It's really hot and humid.
Awful.
The humidity
yesterday was so hot.
Yeah.
And we have a good air conditioner. I could not get the house below 80 degrees. Like I had to go in our bedroom and turn on we have a second air conditioner wall unit.
Yeah.
I had to sit here for like 6 hours. It was one of those days. And no matter how low you'd have the air in Florida, on days like that, it was a heat factor 110.
Yeah, it's hot.
You cannot get the house below 80, no matter what.
And our home main air conditioner that we have, our central air conditioning unit, is an industrial unit. It's not
we just got it serviced, and it's really good.
It's not a regular house unit. It's one that businesses have, but because of Kathy's health issues.
So it's hot.
So there's hardly anybody in Palm Beach this time of year. Because they're all rich and up north, and they're only down here doing this.
Yeah, they have like multiple homes.
Yeah, President Trump, he is here, living here now. Now today he had this press conference in Bedminster, but he's living here right now, which he never does for security reasons because he got shot. They had the Pakistani assassin try to get to him last week.
Yes, that's why he's been
here. They keep telling us the Iranians are after. And Mar-a-Lago, I know a lot of you have seen me do YouTube videos there. Mar-a-Lago is surrounded by two moats. It has the ocean on one side and the other side, the intercoastal waterway.
True.
It has a wall around it that's, 12 to 15 feet high.
And there's really just one road.
Well, yeah.
To get to it from the main highway.
It is a fortress. And when I went in there for that private cocktail party with the president, which was incredible, when I went in there, it's beautiful. It looks like someplace in Hawaii inside there. It was more beautiful than I imagined. But there's an army in there. And I'm not exaggerating. There's an army in there. I couldn't believe. I mean, they have vehicles and all kinds of stuff. It's crazy because security. That was before he got shot, right? Okay, so he's here in this hot summertime when he never is, living here for his safety. So they've made some security changes there. They have blocked the road. You know, many of you have seen me drive and make videos walking around Mar-a-Lago. That road has now been shut down. There are many more Secret Service checkpoints.
They've beefed
in the
up
neighborhood.
The security and closed some of the roads.
To get around there, you have to be a resident. You have to be able to prove it. And I could still go down there and make YouTube videos and things, but I don't, out of respect for President Trump, because I don't want to go down there and show anybody the security that's out there, even though it's out for the public to see. I don't go there out of respect for President Trump. You know, I went there the night that he got shot when I got off the air that Saturday, and I did that special show, but I haven't been back since, and I'm not going to go there and show you guys the new security because who knows, you know. So anyway, they're very liberal down there. Very, very liberal.
It's a blue county.
And the people that live there on Palm Beach Island, most of them, they hate him.
Well, listen to the names you've listed.
And they hate MAGA.
That live there. Howard Stern, Brett Baer.
And many times when I've been down there, because I'll go down there and live stream and make YouTube videos, and I have my MAGA hat on and a Trump shirt, and you'll hear sometimes people come by and say F you and all this.
Yeah. Sometimes
the people that are yelling F you and F Trump that are coming by are in cars that cost more than our house cost.
Yeah.
Okay, they're super rich people, and some of them like it, but a lot of them don't. And they harassed Rush, they harassed him. So anyway,
he lives down there.
Mm-hmm. What the mayor of Palm Beach is talking about doing, since they've added this security, she wants to make a move to shut down Mar-a-Lago. And let me tell you something.
Crazy.
You know, these Democrats are really scummy people.
Yeah.
It is obvious he is there because they're trying to kill him. They've shot him. They got the Pakistani assassin. We had the thing on Trump Force One last week where they had the emergency, you know. And
so what does it mean, shut down? Hold on. What does that mean? Okay, I know it's a club and that he lives in the residences of this club. But shut down, what does she mean? That he can't live there either? Or they just shut down the club where they can't have... I mean, this club, they have a lot of events, weddings.
What they're talking about...
It's how they make money.
They haven't gotten specific, but they're obviously, it's the city. They're talking about doing some kind of rezoning. When he first moved there, because he didn't really live... before he was president, he lived in Trump Tower.
Yeah, he was in New York.
And he would come down here from time to time, but he lives here in the wintertime pretty permanently because of security reasons. It's and they were trying to, when he was in his first term, the city of Palm Beach was trying to get him kicked out of his own house by saying this is a zone for a club, not a residence, and he's turning it into a residence. It's not zoned for that. So they're talking about doing some zoning. They've been very vague. But this is how Democrats operate. Everyone knows that he is there during this 110-degree heat that we're having in South Florida, wearing a suit and tie, by the way, every day, for security reasons, because a lot of people are trying to kill him. And they want him out of this safety zone and have him exposed. I think
that's what it's about.
That's how Democrats think. That's how Democrats operate. Let me tell you.
I think that's what it's all about. She wants to make him vulnerable.
If it wasn't President Trump, but it was President Clinton or Carter or Biden or something, and they were going through this, and I would, hey, I don't like them, but they were a president of the United States. And by the way, they're human beings, and they deserve protection.
Well, I'll tell you something.
It's really scummy what they're doing.
We have listeners that live in Delaware, and I've had many tell me, one is one of our moderators, that every weekend while Biden has been president, he goes to Delaware, and they shut down all the roads,
pretty much the whole state,
main roads, like a highway. They shut them all down for hours while people are going to on Friday afternoon and on Sunday. And she said Friday traffic's awful. Especially when in the afternoon around 4 or 5 o'clock, it's a nightmare everywhere. And she said that's when they would do it. Friday afternoon. He'd come from Washington, and they would shut down everything, and it would take everybody 3 hours to get home from work now, every Friday. Probably still does it. So, but it was okay to inconvenience those people. What we're talking about here is one road, like two roads maybe that are like 2-lane roads. A1A, in some places it's a 2-lane road, maybe 4 lanes. It's the highway that goes along the beach.
It's called Ocean Ave and
Ocean Drive. But you can also call it A1A, and it goes all up and down the coast. My dad used to live on A1A, and it was Ocean Drive, and it goes all the way down to Miami. I don't know how far north it goes. They want to close parts of that, which is not a main road, and really only the people that live there.
You can't drive in front of Mar-a-Lago now unless you live there.
Only the people that live there really use these roads.
Yeah.
And if they show ID or whatever, she said it's like too much like Checkpoint Charlie. And, okay, well, I thought liberals are communists. They should be comfortable with that kind of stuff.
They don't want him safe. Well,
they just don't like him being safe.
They're liberal Democrats. They hate him, and they hate you, and they hate me, and they hate us.
And they hate themselves.
And they want to put him in danger. And a lot of people are asking me what's going on. And I'll tell you this, it's not going to happen. Okay.
You don't think so? I don't know. The city commission, they're all liberals.
They will not be successful. He will, if he has to, he'll go to court. He owns that property. It is his home.
Yeah.
Mar-a-Lago is the largest home in Florida that someone lives in. Okay. There's a mansion in Miami that's a museum, Vizcaya, that I've been told is bigger. But it's a historical landmark. And
you have the Flagler Museum, which nobody lives in anymore.
I am 99% positive he's going to have his presidential museum near Mar-a-Lago because he loves Mar-a-Lago. It's possible when he passes in 100 years, he will. It's possible he'll be buried at his museum, depending on where it is, like some of these presidents are. But I think he might have himself buried at Mar-a-Lago.
I would love it,
and to have it like forever protected. Because if he's buried at Mar-a-Lago, they'll never be able to touch it ever. Ever.
He loves Elvis Presley. I would love him to turn it into like a Graceland.
Mar-a-Lago?
Like turn it into no longer a club. He's buried there, and they turn it into a whole museum that you can go visit. They turn that into his presidential museum.
I think he'll do it because
how cool would that be? You can tour Mar-a-Lago and everything.
They make so much money off those memberships. He's
got other clubs.
Mar-a-Lago, like you can have your wedding reception there. You can get married there. Sometimes there's car shows there. People rent it out and do stuff.
Wouldn't it be cool if you could go there long after, in 50 years when he's gone, and go through his living quarters.
Yeah, it'd be amazing.
As part of the
Wouldn't it be amazing?
Show where the FBI raided.
Exactly.
You could turn that whole place.
They could have some paper stone on the floor.
An amazing presidential museum. And I'm serious. It'd be like Graceland.
So, yeah, I agree. I like that idea.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
But he's going to live another 100 years. But anyway, a lot of people have been asking me about this. These Democrats in Palm Beach have always been harassing conservatives. Rush Limbaugh with that doctor shopping case, okay?
Yeah.
That was a Democrat prosecutor in Palm Beach. And it was the first case ever prosecuted in America of doctor shopping on a patient.
Yeah.
And it was obvious what he obviously had a substance abuse problem, Rush. It cost him his hearing. But he was the first case of that ever prosecuted in the United States. It was very political. They're really liberal monsters that live there. But don't worry about it. Now, I wanted to play this. This is insane. And it fits into this because President Trump is in such danger with everything that's going on.
The Secret Service detail that's guarding former President Donald Trump. So this coming from Real Clear Politics, reporting that a female Secret Service agent abandoned her post in North Carolina to breastfeed her baby during Trump's visit yesterday to the Tar Heel state. The report says about 5 minutes before Trump's motorcade arrived, the site agent who manages security for the entire event did a final sweep of the location.
And while walking the route, the site agent reportedly found the Secret Service special agent in question breastfeeding with 2 other family members present in a room that's supposed to be set aside for official business like an emergency involving the president. The report says the special agent did not have permission to leave her post and gave no warning prior to the event that she needed personal time.
Outrageous.
Working Secret Service agents are prohibited from bringing children or any family members, for that matter, on a protective assignment.
Okay.
She should be fired.
This is insane what's going on, okay? So we have this lactating Secret Service agent around President Trump who left her post. She's guarding a president who was shot a month ago. A second assassination plot with the Pakistani was just foiled. And he's under incredible amounts of protection at Mar-a-Lago. And she just left to go breastfeed. She shouldn't be on the job.
She works for the government. I'm sure she could take 6 months off. They have a Family Leave Act.
Or she could go work at the office.
To breastfeed her kid.
They have an office.
At home. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
That's what that act is for. She should definitely be put on leave for 6 months to take care of her baby. Nothing, she's breastfeeding.
Nuts.
And that's all good. And I have a friend whose daughter's breastfeeding. It's like every 3 freaking hours. You got to do it. And, it's a lot, and it's not easy for a woman to do that. So she's, doing what she wants to do, but she should not be doing it on work hours, obviously, especially when she's supposed to be protecting a guy who they just tried to kill a month ago.
After the incompetence of the protection detail in Pennsylvania when President Trump got shot, it doesn't seem like they've changed much. And, next month,
no, it doesn't.
That crooked judge in New York is going to sentence Trump. And we always said to ourselves, well, if he sentences him to prison, to jail, the Secret Service would never allow them to take. I don't trust them now.
No, I think they're in on it.
I could see the Secret Service turning him over to the New York County Jail bailiff. Yep. It would not surprise me when you've got an agent who's lactating and leaving her post to go breastfeed when she's protecting someone that there's been 2 assassination attempts at least in the last month, maybe 3 with the plane incident.
Yeah, it's outrageous.
The Secret Service
clearly
are not there to protect him.
There's clearly either a deliberate issue or there's a leadership incompetence issue or a combination.
Now, I will say the immediate agents that were right around him, they ran up on stage and did just like in the movies. They got on top of him and shielded him.
Yeah, but they're not enough. Yeah. If they have the top people or the people that are in charge of these things.
But it's the next layer outside of them.
It only takes, like we saw with Butler, it only takes one. You got a shield around Trump, or say like a bubble around Trump to protect him. It just takes one little crack in that bubble or hole.
Like in Butler.
One little breach to make him vulnerable.
Like one of his agents is breastfeeding when she's supposed to be on duty.
Exactly. Why didn't she tell somebody? Well, this is what I think happened. I don't know if it's nefarious. I think she was trying to sneak it in. I think she wanted to continue working. I'm assuming when you take leave, I don't know if you get the same pay or if you get a pay cut.
She could work at the office. They got an office building.
Well, whatever. For some reason, she didn't, and she wanted to keep working. So you can either think she did it on purpose to make him vulnerable, but there was no attack.
No, I just think it's liberal arrogance.
Or if she just
entitlement.
had her husband come and probably her mother bring the baby and snuck it in for 10 minutes, and then they were going to leave, and she didn't think she'd get caught.
That's possible.
Yeah, I'm sure that happens all the time.
No, that's entirely possible.
But there's women that are really into this whole breastfeeding.
Oh, yes.
Thing. It's like a cult.
It is, isn't it?
And they're really into it. I personally get a little uncomfortable when I see women breastfeeding in public, but not to the point where I freak out. I know they got to feed their kid. And I understand that, but I don't know, for some reason it just makes people a little weird watching it. Like she went into a room, but I think she was hiding the fact that she was doing it.
Yeah. But her priorities are messed up.
Because she didn't tell somebody, I'm leaving. So there was either one of two reasons, because she wanted to leave Trump vulnerable, she didn't care, or she was trying to do it in a sneaky way.
I'm surprised we found out about it. Okay, now each and every day, more garbage comes out on Tim Walz. I mean, this guy is the worst.
He's a disaster.
He's the worst. A new clip of him came out from a few years ago when he was in Congress. He was in studio on C-SPAN. And listen to this introduction. And during the introduction, he nods his head in agreement, right? Listen.
Of course.
Hart. Congressman Tim Walz, also a member of the Armed Services Committee and Veterans Affairs, Democrat of Minnesota, highest ranking enlisted soldier ever to serve in Congress, enlisted in the Army National Guard at 17 and retired 24 years later as Command Sergeant Major and served with his battalion at Operating Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan. Wow. And I read that because I want to preface our discussion with your military careers, because you two are trying to stop President Obama from drawing down the Army.
Okay. So, this thing with Walz, I mean, he's
when did he get radicalized? So he was against
I think he always
Obama
was.
Then?
I think this is what
I don't know.
There were Peter Schweitzer.
Maybe they told him to go play solitaire.
Now, Peter Schweitzer, he was on, he works with Breitbart, and he was on, he's on the Breitbart podcast a lot. And I went through these stories this morning. There were two stories that just came out about Schweitzer. One is his connection to this organization that's the front group for the Chinese police stations in Minneapolis. Okay, so he's got a connection to the Chinese police stations, and those police stations. It's not like a police force. It's like the Chinese version of the CIA station, and they have them throughout the United States.
Right.
And there's a lot of Chinese dissidents in the United States, and it's not unusual when I go to a Trump rally or go up to Mar-a-Lago and there's a group up there. There'll be Chinese people with Tiananmen Square signs and stuff. That's still a thing. And what the Chinese police stations do is they harass and even kidnap and take back to China Chinese people who are in this country vocally opposing the regime over there. So, and he's connected to Peter Schweitzer detailed the whole thing. I tweeted a story on that. Then he taught school over there for a number of years. So I think at some point he was recruited by them. It's this interesting thing. He went into the National Guard when he was 17. He went to Tiananmen Square and visited there during the massacre and uprising. It's very strange. At some point, he was radical. Now, Peter Schweitzer said there's no financial payoffs, okay, like with Biden. This is ideological. And if I were investigating this on him, I would look into the campaign financing and organization of his first run for Congress and find out who that was that funded that. How did this guy
They need to do
get
a deep dive into her and him.
Mainly him and the
money
wife.
behind them.
The wife and Tim Walz are hardcore CCP agents, and everything about it shows that he is. This guy is dangerous.
Well, if he's doing it just for ideological reasons, that's scarier.
That's worse than Biden.
Somebody doing it for money.
That's exactly right.
Because somebody who does it for money, they can be bought off by somebody else. They don't have loyalty. They're loyal to whoever's paying them. This guy's believes what he's a true believer. But Tammy Bruce was on Outnumbered today, and I always like when she's on, and she made a very good point. She said, I think he was her last pick, the bottom of the barrel, because she said that's why there was no time to vet him It was a very last-minute decision because everybody else turned her down. Mm-hmm. And she says they weren't able to vet him properly, and that's why it's a nightmare for them now, because they would have uncovered all of this, and they would not have chosen him. And I think that's probably true.
Now, I want to take a moment to thank all of our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. Thank you guys so much. And if you'd like to support the program by becoming a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this and every episode. And remember, Patreon supporters have access to commercial-free editions of all of our podcast episodes. Our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on each and every podcast episode. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Mike P, Carlos, Paulette, John, K-Mac, Alice, Richard, Maria in Texas, David, Heather, LeeZep, Shawna, Constance, George, Brandon, Rob and Trish Wilkerson, Christy R, and John S. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you so much, guys. And again, there's a link to our Patreon page in the description if you'd like to support the show and become a Patreon supporter. We're going to take a quick break. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy, and we'll be right back.
From author Liam Gold comes an epic adventure where destiny, courage, and wisdom come alive in Sands of Destiny. In ancient Egypt, you'll meet Prince Thutmose. He uncovers ancient secrets and faces trials that will test his courage and his resolve. Sands of Destiny is a story about transformation where every discovery brings the prince closer to a legacy that will inspire generations. Sands of Destiny will transport you to a world filled with mystical intrigue and timeless themes. If you're a fan of historical fiction, love adventure, and have an interest in the timeless allure of ancient Egypt, this is your next must-read book. Begin your journey today with Sands of Destiny from author Liam Gold, available on Amazon and Kindle Unlimited. This is your chance to experience the adventure that will leave you breathless and inspired. Sands of Destiny on Amazon. Are you a sports fan? Do you love basketball, soccer, football, the UFC, and boxing? Then you need to check out the podcast, The Guru, on YouTube. Join Christian, broadcasting live from the Republic Democratic of Congo. He's an engineer with a passion for sports. Christian has created a podcast to share his expert opinions on all your favorite sports topics. From Ronaldo's selfishness, the Warriors' reliance on Stephen Curry, the dominance of foreign players in the NBA, The Guru covers it all. He breaks down why England has struggled in the Euro, analyzes Spain's performance. Is Angel Reese worth the hype? Did the Clippers make the right decision on Paul George's contract? The Guru has all the answers. Find The Guru on YouTube. Just search Christian-Guru. That's Christian-Guru on YouTube. Share the podcast on all your social media so your friends can join in too. The Guru on YouTube. Subscribe and start listening right now. Are you living the life that you want to live? How would you like to boost your financial health and learn from the best? You can do just that with Let's Talk Assets. It's a podcast with host Chris A. Williams and Giovanni Paradise. Chris and Giovanni are real estate moguls and business partners. They bring you expert advice and insights. Chris is just 25 years old and he's already made his mark in real estate. He leads a team of 15 agents. He's won numerous awards and he wants to help you grow your assets. Giovanni is a real estate investor. He's netted over $1 million in his very first year, and he wants to share his secrets to success. With the Let's Talk Assets podcast, you'll learn how to budget, understand markets, real estate, partnerships, and more. You'll gain insights from expert guests who've built multi-million-dollar businesses. Chris and Giovanni provide free education on positivity and growing your financial health. Don't miss out. Subscribe right now. Let's Talk Assets is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all podcast platforms, and YouTube. Empower your financial future with Let's Talk Assets. Are you a free spirit? Then check out Cosmic Showroom on Etsy.com. Their exclusive collection of apparel and home decor is designed for those who love to explore and cherish the beauty of the world. Each piece at Cosmic Showroom is a unique creation by the talented in-house artist, Rena. When you visit Cosmic Showroom on Etsy, make sure to check out the Travel Couples Skeleton Woven Blanket. It's perfect for travel enthusiasts. Made from premium natural cotton, this blanket is lightweight, incredibly soft, and beautifully textured. It blends 2 different color threads to create a vibrant woven design. This isn't just a blanket, it's a piece of art from Rena. Whether you're looking for a special anniversary gift or a cozy throw for your next adventure, the skeleton woven blanket is the perfect choice. Buy one for yourself or give it as a gift. Start shopping right now online at cosmicshowroom.etsy.com. That's cosmicshowroom.etsy.com and celebrate the spirit of adventure as well as the beauty of our world with each and every purchase. cosmicshowroom.etsy.com.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. President Trump posted something on True Social today, and I must say I was hoping he'd be back on Twitter this week, but, you know, he did the spaces, and he's not. Anyway, we talked about that on the last podcast, so check that out. But he posted on Truth Social today, President Trump. We're leading in almost all polls, in some cases leading by a lot, despite the fact that the fake news is pulling out all stops for their radical left San Francisco liberal Kamala Harris. In 2016, we did well and won. We got millions more in 2020. We did better than 2016. But nothing compares to this year, 2024. The enthusiasm is great. The management team, headed up by Susie Wiles and Chris LaChavita. Well, this is interesting because the Gateway Pundit had a story yesterday that he was going to fire them, and he mentioned them in the True Social. That's why he did it, because people were talking. He wanted people to know they're not going anywhere. He said the team of Susie Wiles and Chris LaChavita is the best. Many people want to join the campaign for the final push, some from the first 2 campaigns. That's Lewandowski, right, who came back. And we want as many as we can get. I'm pleased to announce that Corey Lewandowski, who was very involved in 2016, will be coming back on board as a senior advisor. Others likewise are joining us. They'll be announced soon. Again, these 82 days will go down as the most important in campaign history. And November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country. We are a nation in decline, but we will soon be a great nation again. MAGA 2024. You know, this is an interesting thing because when he talks about the polls, I don't know if they're allowed to do this. Okay, they do these internal polls that they pay a lot of money for. The campaigns, they pay a lot of money. The polls that we all have access to are for the public. Most of them are commissioned by the media. You notice Fox News, New York Times, right? Bloomberg. And the reason that the media commissions polls is so they have something to talk about, right? It creates a controversy. It creates suspense. So those polls are always misleading. But the internal polls that we don't see are scientific polls that give you the real information. And I've only seen them once or twice leak out. Maybe, Kathy, they're not allowed to release them. Like they commission these polls, maybe they have to keep them secret because I would like Trump to show the internal polls that show so that people can see, because these push polls that the media are doing are, I think, having an effect of depressing people.
Yeah, I think he should do that too.
But maybe they can't. Maybe part of the deal is with those polls, maybe the pollsters don't. Maybe they're only for private consumption.
Maybe. And
you can't make them public. I don't know. But President Trump's speech in North Carolina was pretty good. I mean, he was. Oh, by the way, Mike Lindell is at Bedminster with the president today.
Yep, just sent you a picture of that. I put it in our Patreon.
Yeah. But I think we really need to see those internal polls. But like I said, it could be a contractual thing that we're not allowed to see them. Now, Benny Johnson had an incredible interview. He had Julie Kelly. She's an investigative journalist. And she was talking about the Trump shooter. I'm not going to say the guy's name, okay? I'm just not. But she dropped a lot of big stuff to Benny Johnson. She said that he had an FBI handler and was in communication with FBI informant, agent, or asset. So he had FBI contacts.
She said there's no doubt in my mind. She didn't have proof, but based on her, so I just want to be clear on that, based on her reporting and her investigating from what she found out.
Yeah.
She said because where he trained to shoot, she said was where the DHS and FBI trained. She said there's now no doubt in my mind he had a handler like the Whitmer people kidnapping people.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Infiltrated him or whatever.
Yeah, he was. Basically, I mean, what I took from it, she's saying that he was recruited.
Yeah, like Oswald.
Exactly. And it's really scary because.
And it's all, I think, with that BlackRock thing.
Yeah,
that's where it started.
Back in the days of Kennedy and all that conspiracy, you didn't have public awareness because you didn't have all the media we have now, right? Now, anybody can get the truth out on some platform somewhere. Back in those days, people didn't, and there was a lot of trust in the government. The government's been exposed since then. But back in those days, they did things in secret. Now, they seem totally fearless, don't they?
Yep. Because they're not being held accountable.
That's right.
Nobody's getting fired. Nobody's going to jail. So they're just being very open about it. It seems they're not even being careful anymore.
No, they're not.
No. It's like they want people to know.
I guess. Or they're just totally fearless. They're just totally fearless. I mean, you look at the way the Secret Service heads reacted, and notice how that went nowhere. We had the 2 hearings. The one resigned. The second one was just as bad as her, and that was the end of it. It disappeared. There's like no there's like no accountability for any of the screw ups or the mess ups, and they're not even doing things in private. They're doing things pretty in the open. And what's crazy is when someone like Julie Kelly comes out with a story like this, it's not even surprising to people. It just confirms what we knew. Now, I want to tell you guys about Tom Laporta. Tom Laporta has been with us on the radio for a long, long time, and he joined us a little while here back on the podcast. Tom Laporta is a great MAGA guy. His company, Laporta Contracting and Roofing. He will never sell you a roof you do not need, and he is the only roofer I know of who says that. Right? When have you ever heard a roofer say they will never sell you a roof you do not need? No, they don't. They would none. And we have more roofers in Florida probably than any other state because of hurricanes, right? We get more roofs replaced. Well, I guess maybe up in Tornado Alley, they probably get some too, but the whole house is gone then. But he will never sell you a roof you do not need, meaning that if you just need a simple repair, he will do it. No matter where you are in the state of Florida, you can give him a call. I'm going to give you his cell phone number in a moment. You can call him on his cell phone number, and Tom Laporta will answer. And that's it's a pretty big company because he covers the state of Florida. And to have the cell phone number of the owner of the company, not just to make the initial call to get your roof repaired or get your roof replaced, but through the whole process. Isn't that an amazing thing? During the whole process of your roof repair or roof replacement, you've got the contact, you've got the cell phone number right there. That's an amazing thing. And he's got a great crew of people. In fact, I'm going to a job site of his tomorrow. They're working on a house, and I'm going to go watch the guys work. I saw them start a roof, and he really has a team of not just roofers. These guys are artisans. We've had roofs done on our house. I've seen a lot of roofers work in the neighborhood. These guys are incredibly high skilled, professional roofing artisans. They do a great job. So one quick thing about Tom Laporta. Since he's a contractor, here in Florida, he is allowed to talk directly to your insurance company for the cost of the repair or the replacement of your roof, which means you may not have to hire a public adjuster. Some people have to hire attorneys to deal with their insurance company. Tom Laporta, he can take care of that for you. So give him a call. His number, again, rings directly to his cell phone, 954-604-4600. 4602. 954-604-4602. For Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting and Roofing. Make sure you tell him I told you about him. 954-604-4602. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We're out of time for today, but we will talk to you next time. Thanks for listening, everyone.